starting with, take a look here, the Thermaltake Lc Gs Glacier. This thing struck me as one that was stand out above the rest. You know, looking from the $2,300 range down, I went through pretty much everything on Amazon. I spent the weekend kind of doing the research here and catching up to speed with what's been on the platform. And this one is hands down my favorite. Thermaltake is not a brand that you see commonly, you know, on Amazon or that you're buying. You see a lot of people buying PCs from. It's not a brand that necessarily have heard of or built PCs. You might hear of some of their individual parts. They're well known for their parts, but this one is particularly good, and here's why. Let's see if I can get rid of that highlight there. If we take a look here, it's liquid cooled. It's got a Ryzen 5, and we're going to go through and I'm going to show you why. Like, I'm going to rank some of this stuff for you all to show you why this is important from a gaming standpoint. 16 gigabytes of RAM, which for modern day gaming, I would say that this is pretty much like a minimum if you want to play modern games. Going down to 8 gigabytes, you're going to see the hit from it, but it's doable there. But 16 is ideal, at least. But the cream of the crop, just to add icing to the cake here, GeForce RTX 3070 in here, plus 1 terabyte SSD. Those are like all the basic things that you want. And this one just had everything that I was looking for in a gaming PC. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be the one. This is going to be the one we should definitely look at as the #1 PC here on, in this tier, at least, if you have about $2,300 in that price range. So let me take a closer look. I wanted to look at Ryzen 5, this 5600X. You know, whenever you're looking at CPUs, you pick Ryzen or NVIDIA. You know, there's a bunch out there that, you know, you're always looking at NVIDIA versus Radeon, ATI Radeon, or you know, Ryzen versus Intel. Which one do you pick? Which one's best as a gamer? You know, this is an industry where there's competition, and the competition is good, especially now. These newest generation Ryzen CPUs are very, very competitive, maybe even more so than the Intel. So if we look at a hierarchy, we're looking for the Ryzen 5 5600X. I know I'm getting into the weeds here a bit, but you'll see why here in a second, because this particular CPU is ranked in the top 10. In fact, it's number 5. This is our guy right here. When we're talking, this is in the $2,300 price range, you're getting a top 5 ranked CPU. Now this ranking list is from Tom's Hardware. You know, you can get lists from others that might have different placements. Generally speaking, I would say Tom's is pretty good. So top 5, this is going to be the only one that we look at today that has a top 5 CPU. So like, let's just not look at everything else you're getting here for a second. With this deal, you're already going to get the number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just counting to make sure. The number 5 ranked CPU. And if you look at its actual scoring, like even the number 1 CPU is only like 3 or 4 percentage points of an improvement. So you're really getting top of the line CPU performance. Like you're buying the best. You're buying the best in the industry at a mid-tier price. That's pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. So we got the AMD Ryzen in here. That's excellent. Another thing we're looking at, and if you're a gamer and you're like wondering, you know, you want to play modern games, right? I mean, and here's the thing, even if you don't want to play modern games, a lot of your older games, especially service-oriented video games like Fortnite, like World of Warcraft, are being updated regularly. So those games, despite them having an old age mark, they're still going to require modern day systems because they're being upgraded. They're a service-based game. Developers continue to upgrade them, year after year. And for that reason, you need to have a rig that's going to be able to run modern games. Now, even like, Diablo 2. So Diablo 2 is an old game, like 15 years old or more. Blizzard is remaking this game. And it's going to require a better system to play the remake. It depends what type of gamer you are. But if you want to be playing modern games, you really need to be having a budget. It's going to be, ideally you want a budget that's going to be at least in the 2000 range to be able to play modern games well in 1080p at a higher FPS, at least 60. This system here, go back to it. This system right here, this one is likely going to be able to game at 1440p. So that's just taking a step into the 4K territory. Not quite 4K. Like you're about like 1.5 times in there. But it's a significant visual improvement over 1080p. You're also going to be able to do that at a higher frames per second. Generally, 1080p, 60 FPS is like your standard average gaming. But if you want to take it up a visual level, this system is probably going to be able to do that. You're probably going to be able to play at like 1440p, maybe at 100 FPS or more on some games, especially your more cartoon animated games like Fortnite, right? Now, your other games that are maybe a little bit more impactful with a little bit more realistic graphics, probably lower FPS there. The new Battlefield coming, right? Those type of games, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Warzone. Also, I'm not sure if you can see him. The cat has joined us. You guys can say hi to Norman. He'll spend a lot of time here. Anytime I'm streaming, I do a lot of game streaming as well. He likes to join. As soon as I start talking to the microphone, he's like, he knows to come and sit on my lap because he normally gets packed. But I do want to just make a special note here that this one being number one, we're not going to see anything else that's good on this list. And the last thing here, I want to talk about the graphics card, the 3070. This is the most recent line of graphics cards from NVIDIA. I recommend NVIDIA over ATI Radeon cards, mostly for gaming creators. And as a gaming creator myself, we only go NVIDIA because they have functionality with game streaming much better. This system here has a 3070 1 terabyte. So where does that fall? You're getting a top 5 CPU. What about the GPU? 3070. You're right down here, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're still in the top 10, right? And you're really not that far off. You're in the 2080 Ti territory, which 2080 Ti is the best from last gen outside of the Titan. Look, I'm sure if you're a gamer, you've heard of the NVIDIA Titan, like the best graphics card, or at least last gen, right? This thing is 2 to 3% less efficient than the Titan. The only thing that's missing here, and this is pretty huge, but for you, with this deal, I wouldn't worry about it, is the gigabyte range difference. Like that Titan has tons. The thing is, the Titan was massively expensive. We're talking way over $1,000. The 3070 you're getting in this rig for much cheaper. This rig is a much better price in the $2,300 tier. If you go look on eBay, I'm not going to bring that up, but if you were to look on eBay right now, the 3070 is running, I kid you not, for $1,350. Okay, that is more than half of what you'd be paying for this system as a whole. Anyway, so I would say you're getting a top 10 GPU. You're getting a top 5 CPU. Plus, you have 16 gigabytes of RAM. You've got 1 terabyte SSD hard drive, which that's important. Having an SSD hard drive, especially 1 terabyte, as we go through these other PCs, it's going to be rare that you're going to see 1 terabyte. And if you do, you'll see that those cost more. The thing is, you want to install your games on a SSD hard drive because they'll load faster. So having more space means more space for more games. You'll load more quickly. You don't have to uninstall old ones and reinstall new ones because you're just working with a finite amount of space. And there are some games out there that take a lot of hard drive space. Believe me, especially like I mod Skyrim. That thing takes like half of my hard drive.